On this video, I'm taking part in a challenge proposed by YouTuber Channel 33 RPM. In it, he proposed that people should randomly play 10 albums that they've not heard for at least a year and then post the video about it. I've put a link to his video about the challenge in the description box below. I was actually surprised at how long it's been since I've played some of these albums. I've played songs off the various albums on different compilations and things, but it's been a while since I played the full album. Let's get started. In 1977, I bought Bobby Womack's album Looking for a Love Again, and it was a really good album. But I don't know about you, but over the years, I tend to go for certain albums. And so if I'm going to pull one of it out, it's usually Womagic or The Poet. And so diving in and playing this album again has been great. I forgot how good the songs are. It's one of those things with music, it takes me back. I was 17, I bought it in the summer of 1977, although it came out in 74. It's a great album, and there's no doubt I'm going to be listening to it again. After watching Rick Astley's New Year's Eve concert, I thought I'd pull out his debut album and have a listen to that as part of my challenge. Now here's the thing. Didn't really like Stock Aitken Waterman at the time, so none of their records really made an imprint, with the exception of Rick Astley. And playing this album again, it's a solid 6 out of 10 to be fair, because the first part of the album is just brilliant. Hit after hit after hit, great songs, well produced, and then somewhere inside too it turns into a filler album and finishes off with an old Nat King Cole cover that had reached #1 in the UK. All in all, not a bad album. Can't see me listening to it again very soon though. Released in the March of 1972, next up we've got Slade's album Slade Alive. Now I'm not really a lover of live albums, but this one, when it came out, I really liked it. I'd heard Get Down and Get With It the year before because they'd released it as a single, and I really liked that. The album was like a breath of fresh air when I was 11, nearly 12 when it came out. And it made me want to see more of Slade. I was, like I said, 11, so I wasn't going to concerts. I lived in deepest, darkest Somerset, miles away from anywhere they were likely to play anyway, so never got to see them. So it was a shame when I played the album again. It's probably the first time I've listened to it in at least 10 years. And it went from being an album that I thought was so great to an album I didn't really enjoy too much. There was a couple of tracks on there that I thought were great. Hear Me Callin', the first track, was pretty good. Obviously Get Down and Get With It was great. They did a cover version of Darling Be Home Soon, which wasn't bad, and Born to Be Wild wasn't bad. But that was it. It wasn't bad. I've heard much better. I thought I was really going to enjoy it again, considering I hadn't heard it for so long. But shucks, there's life. Let's go back to the spring of 1960 with the next album. It's Brenda Lee and Miss Dynamite. It's an album I've known pretty much all of my life. I was born a couple of months after it was released, and my dad had a reel-to-reel tape recorder when I was born, and on some of his tapes are most of the songs on that album. So hearing it again this week has just been something special. I've not heard it for, I don't know, 2-3 years probably. And so getting it out and hearing it just brought loads of memories flooding back to me. I absolutely love it. Back in 1982, Eddie Grant did an album called Killer on the Rampage. It was a really good album, and I could remember playing it a lot. However, one of the songs from the album, I Don't Wanna Dance, was a massive hit and got played so much and for so long that I got burnt out on it. And for that reason alone, I never played the album. Now it's been years, I mean years, 10 or more, since I last played it. And hearing it again, it was a really nice surprise, because it's not a reggae album, it's pop reggae I suppose, but it's a great album. There is some really good stuff on there. Electric Avenue was good, War Party was good, things like Another Revolutionary, great songs. And it's a really good album that it has been too long since I played it, and I think I'll play it a bit more often now, you know. Now we're halfway through. If you're enjoying the video, please hit that like button to let me know how the video is of value to you. And if you've got any comments about any of the albums, feel free to add them down below. let's get back to it. Elvis Presley's album Rock and Roll first came out in 1956. I bought it when it was reissued as a 13-year-old in 1973, although it had come out a year earlier. And it is full of the good stuff from the early days. It's raw, but it's great to hear songs like Mystery Train, Money Honey, Trying to Get to You, all great songs, a good album. I don't play Elvis very often anymore. As I was growing up, I used to play a lot of his albums all the time, but it's not somebody who I go to anymore. I don't know why, because I still love the songs. But hearing it again, it was pretty damn good, to be honest with you. If you think about Barry White and the Love Unlimited Orchestra, them smooth sounds that we all knew in the 70s, they were arranged and conducted by Gene Page. Now, in 1974, he made an album himself called Hot City, and Barry White repaid the favour by producing that album. And it is cool as you like. And I've played that this week for the first time in a couple of years, I suppose, and it's great. It's a really cool album, and it's one that I'm going to be playing again, I think. It's Marty Robbins up next. Gunfighter Ballads and Trail Songs from 1959. I've not played it for, must be 7 or 8 years now. When I was a kid, we had some of those records. There was Big Iron, there was Cool Water, there was El Paso. 3 big hits that we used to play on my dad's reel-to-reel tape recorders. So I've loved these songs. I'm not really a country guy, but I love that album. Even though I've not played it for ages, it's just a pleasant surprise when you hear it again. The year is 2010 and J.D. McPherson puts out an album called Signs and Signifiers. Now what that is rockabilly, brought up to date. If you listen to the song Northside Gal, you'll hear that he sounds very much like Little Richard. And what an album it is. 12 songs, all brilliant and well worth listening to. Haven't played it for a little while, but I'll tell you what, it was great to hear it again. If you like the sound of Matt Bianco, then Basher's album Time and Tide will do you a treat, because she was the female lead in the group, and most of the songs on the album were written by her and Danny White, who was also in Matt Bianco. It's a really good album. It's one that I loved when it came out. I've played it a lot over the years, not so much recently, and I don't know why, because having heard it again, it's really, really good. There's some great songs on there. It's got a nice Latin feel in places, and it's got that Matt Bianco feel as well, which is good time, isn't it? And I loved it, and I can see me playing that again. It's funny, you don't play something for ages, and then you hear it and you start playing it again, don't you? It's weird how we do that. But it's a good album, and it's one that is well worth taking your time over and having a listen to. And that's your lot. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content, because I often chat about music related things, and it'd be nice to have you in my little community. And if you click up there, you can join me as I go back to the 1970s.